Hello and welcome to the latest episode of The Forum.
Clap, 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 clap.
I am the host, Serum Lake, and today I am joined by the ever-present Yaster.
Hi.
The infamous LordRoss.
Hello, hello.
And the nefarious Wretched Hawk.
Hello.
I thought of a different, adjective?
Yes,
Adjective,
it's
yes.
a nicer one this time.
A different one, at least.
It's better than being the wretched and nefarious Hawk.
I suppose so, yeah. Let's get started by talking a little bit about what we've been playing. So, I pick Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. LordRoss, you're first. What have you been playing?
Ooh, I've been playing a selection of stuff not just on the PlayStation, on the phone as well. I've been doing that old Curiosity game.
Okay.
I Peter Molyneux, but if we stick to PlayStation...
Fair enough, that's fine.
In fact, no, yeah, it's still PlayStation, but it's a Vita game.
That's fine, it's PlayStation brand.
I had a go at that Smart As game this week.
Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know, what is Smart As?
I didn't know either. When I first put it in, I thought I'll give it a go.
Did you think it was... I've said this on the forum in our Smart Ass thread. We have to make sure that we're all saying Smart As. Or more specifically, Smart As ... lowercase a. But I thought it was based on those Noel Edmonds television programmes. Are you smarter than a 12-year-old or stuff like that?
I didn't think anything of that. I thought, I didn't know what I thought, but I put it in. I assumed it'd be a bit like brain training on the other console. But no, it's actually a good little game. You've got this daily thing where you go in there, do it daily, check how your brain score is, different lobes. So you've got logic,
Wisdom,
observation, and arithmetic.
Okay.
But I'm sure the voice, I don't know if I'm right or wrong here, it sounds like John Cleese.
It is John Cleese, yeah.
It is John Cleese.
Okay.
But see, I've been playing a bit of this as well. I think the first time I heard from it was... this is... it's been developed by Climax, who I believe are an independent developer. They've... I think they're known for making some of the games in the later life of the PS1. I think they put together the port of James Pond, Robocod for PS1, I think. But this is a project overseen by XDev, who are based in Liverpool. They're XDev External Development. They're basically our version of the Santa Monica studio. You know, they oversee projects from independent developers making first-party games for us, or second-party other games for us. And yes, it is John Cleese doing a bit of a Stephen Fry as the narrator, the disembodied voice of.
He does it really well as well, I thought.
Yeah. He's really just sound like the older kind of an older kind of voice, really, an older persona. Which he is. He's an old man. Even older than Stephen Fry, probably. But yeah.
The graphics are nice and simply based.
Yeah.
Unreal Engine, as it tells you when you load the game up, it is Unreal Engine.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
An Unreal Engine powered quiz game.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And you unlock little mini challenges whilst you do these things.
So give us some examples of some of the mini games, because
some of the mini games I had to go at. You got these blocks, and you've got to put them in the right spaces, and to move them, you've got to tilt the Vita.
Okay.
So it's very much a game that makes.
But they both move at the same time. But it's quite.
Got it. So the challenge is making exactly the right movements, not just adjusting one until you're happy, then moving on to the next one.
They both move at the same time, so you've got to use walls to stop one block from moving. And even the arithmetic stages, it's not just 1 plus 2, and you've got to put the answer. Or there are challenges like that, but you've got to there's somewhere you've got to squeeze two numbers together, try and find bubbles and connect them up.
Okay.
When you're doing the daily thing, there's only a certain limited pool of these challenges that it throws up for you. There's actually more challenges that you unlock via the free play mode. For example, anything that really uses any features beyond the touchscreen. For example, there's ones where you have to listen to what the woman says and write out the word that she's saying. There's ones, there's ones that use the microphone. There's ones that use the AR, like the camera and the little card that you get with your Vita as well. There's challenges that use
I
that.
haven't really used that since the start.
That's what I'm saying. They're all in the free play mode.
Right.
Basically, anything that you'd look a little bit out of place doing on the bus, you can do in free play modes. But everything which you can have the sound turned off, and all you need to do is just touch it as if you were touching your phone or something like that. That's all part of like the daily challenges that you would do, and it's all things like sums. Writing the answer to the sum on the whiteboard, and letters, finding the missing letter within the word, writing on the.
I quite enjoyed that one. Apart from it didn't pick up my P. I mean, I know I can't write great, but I mean, it just wouldn't really pick up my P very well.
Yeah, sometimes I write 5 and it comes up with 2 and stuff like that, but then your 5, if you don't make the space at the top of the 5 big enough, then it can look like a 2 sometimes.
Right. But I was quite pleasantly surprised by that little game.
I'm enjoying it as well. There's a big rivalry on Twitter right now with me and Richard 4481.
What percentage are you at?
Well, I think my highest I ever got was 84, but at the moment, the last time I did it, I was like 77.
Yeah, it's about 73.
It's easy for like I guess us in the profession that we're in, I guess, to actually average around about that. I think really 77, and you can have like quite a big sort of academic background, but your brain training score might sort of be around about that. It would seem.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good because you can synchronize your stuff with its online mode. And it's got leaderboards for people that are, because when you set yourself up, you say what your gender is and where you are, and obviously we would all put London in there, so it tells you how brainy you are compared to everybody else in London that's using the thing, and even folk that are near you and folk that are on your friends list. And you can also synchronize it with your Facebook friends as well, so it'll come up with your real name, it'll come up with their real name, and it's okay because they're all on your Facebook friend list. Like what it does in Uncharted. And it's really good. It's really, and it's something that you can do on a daily basis to have a rivalry going with a certain other person. And it's fun.
Well, that's exactly what we're looking for, isn't it? A little bit of fun. Okay then, Hawk, your turn. What have you been playing?
This week I've been mostly playing Need for Speed Most Wanted, which is amazing. Seriously amazing.
Are you playing it on the PlayStation 3 or the Vita?
On the PlayStation 3.
Okay.
It is extremely beautiful. It's pretty mental. I was a big fan of Hot Pursuit, especially the multiplayer, because that was just so much fun. I've not had much chance to experiment with the multiplayer much on this one, although I have had a quick dabble. That was a blast. But I'm just doing the main game. They've just gone crazy. It's just nuts. All the cutscenes when you start the races, just very dreamy, absolutely bizarre.
I'm playing it as well. I'm playing it on the Vita, and it's reported that the Vita version and the PS3 ones are very, very similar. They're basically the same game. It's not like the games like the Lego games where it's like a portable version of that, really. But because they were both made by the actual developer, rather than having to pander the handheld version off to
get someone else to do it.
But those cutscenes that are before the races, they kind of remind me of some like rather pretentious car adverts sometimes.
Well, I don't know.
But like it's like they know what they are. It's like they know that they're a little bit crazy and a bit over the top.
Well, with car adverts, that would be the marketing side of things, and it's there's a reason for that. Whereas within the game, the marketing's already been done. You've brought it, so they're a bit more. It's a bit more nudge, nudge, wink, wink kind of thing. It's a bit more. I suppose it just reminds me of certain films like David Lynch, Cronenberg. Just a slight bit of oddness to it, fitted within what is basically an action racing game, and it's great. I mean, I did last night a half hour, did a race. Took me about 6 goes to beat the car in the most wanted list, then take it down. I took it down within about 2 seconds, which was quite look at. But then I've got like a level 6 heat thing, the maximum SWAT teams. Half an hour later, I'm still trying to get away from them, but I'm still having a blast. There's so much you can do. I think the only thing with it is Criterion, who did the Burnout games. They put their stamp on it. Yeah. And there are things, it's as though they're basically saying, we want you to remember it's us that did Burnout. Don't forget Burnout. Because obviously the hope is from everyone, one day we'll get another proper, a Burnout game, because there's all the things that you got in, like in Paradise.
The billboards.
Yeah, the billboards and the gates, and it's
What
like...
about, you say that you've experimented with multiplayer. Is it just multiplayer races that you've experimented? Because I'm wondering how close this is to actually Burnout in the long run. And I remember all the little challenges that the host used to be able to set up.
This one was quite a mixture of things. So it was like going around in a little arena, taking everyone out in the small area, and then whoever gets the most takedowns, and then there'd be like another little challenge, and then another one, and then it kind of comes to an end, and you're just bombing around, having a laugh, taking each other out, and then they'll start something else up again. But like I say, I only had a quick dabble of that. The game itself, it handles so well. The music, I think I would have liked a few more, I don't know, maybe 80s tunes and a few more dancey tunes and a bit of more obscure music in there. But some of the tunes really do complement it. Strangely, like I quite like the Muse track playing when I'm in the car. Dizzy Rascal had to pop up. It's a bit of a obvious one, but it's brilliant when you're bombing along in your Lamborghini.
The Bonkers one.
Yeah, Bonkers. But it fits. It kind of fits so well. It's such an obvious and easy track for people to go with, but it actually does work.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
The only thing, I think I would have added more. There's a few songs I'm like, I think they'd fit a bit more in there, a bit better. But overall, gameplay-wise, I think they've nailed it. The graphics, I don't know how they keep improving things. It is so beautiful. The size of the city, the things to find and explore, the chases you get in the races, and it's such a cool game.
It's got great reviews from all the journalists, and like 9 out of 10 from many places, in fact. And we've got a thread up in the Need for Speed section with the users' views, the community feeling, and they all saying what you're saying. They're all saying how amazing it is, and
it's brilliant.
How much they love the game.
I think the only problem is you end up whilst playing it afterwards, just wishing you also had a Burnout game, or that someone had announced there's going to be one, because there are certain aspects from Burnout, the crash games you used to get on the PS2, those kind of things that I really miss, and playing this makes me want to be able to go, right, I'll go into their modes, and then I realise, they're not there. That makes me quite sad. But it's great anyway. Well.
I think it's more like an actual kind of it's Burnout Paradise meets Need for Speed. What's it called? Hot Pursuit.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people that were asking this question before before they were able to get hands on with it. They were wondering how the cars handled. Are they close to the arcadey style of Burnout, or they are a bit more closer to Hot Pursuit and the Run? I think they're a nice mixture, and I have, to begin with, the first car, I can't remember which one it was I got, but the first one I got, I was like, wow, this is too realistic, and I can't handle this car. What the heck's going on? It doesn't. And I was like, so my first 10 minutes, I'm like, this feels weird, can't get used to it. Then I got my second car, and I'm like, okay, they've really made, they've really nailed it down how different cars actually handle in real life. But they've also got some that are a bit more arcade and a bit more. It's a really nice mixture, as though they've sat there and gone, right, we need to mould everything together and just make it work for everyone. And I think they've done that really well. And obviously it gives you a challenge as well, because some of those cars that maybe the acceleration isn't as good, the handling's slightly not what used to, it's kind of challenging you to get used to them, because you need to do the races with those cars. And there is an awesome mixture of cars. You find the brand new Lambo, and then you'll find what's it called? Con something. I can't quite remember the word, but it's like I think it's the 1980s one, and it's the same with the Porsches. You'll find a brand new Porsche, and then you'll find the old one. So there's this brilliant mixture of things they've moulded together. They've basically gone, that's great from that game, that's great from that, that's great. Let's put it all together, add stuff to it, perfect it, and release it, and that's what you've got. For me, it's like 9.5 out of 10 or something.
just a whole baggage of awesomeness.
They'll be on the phone to us now to say, what could we do to get the extra 0.5?
Give me some crash modes, and then it'd be 10 out of 10. Basically.
Crash modes, there you go. I kind of have the feeling that scores would be raised if it was a crash mode.
Need for Speed Most Wanted,
Crash Edition,
and then Crash Crash.
I suppose it's got something to do with the car manufacturers and all the licenses that are in it. Maybe they're not really keen.
Yeah,
which is the beauty of Burnout, is that it's all like it's cars that look like real cars, but they've just made up names for them.
Do you know that's one of the things I miss? What you know with the Ridge Racer games, all I want from Ridge Racer is a Ridge Racer that's like the first two, Ridge Racer and Ridge Racer Revolution, with those cars, with Pac-Man car, with the pink car, with the demon car. Until then, I will never be happy with Ridge Racer, no matter how good it is. I want a PS3 version of those two games. And made by the people who've made Need for Speed Most Wanted and Burnout. Imagine it. Imagine if they came together and did that. Just imagine that game and how amazing it would be.
They won't.
Yeah, well, I know, but I can dream. There's some alternative dimension where right now there's some executives sitting there going, "Let's do it," and they've gone. All the different companies have gone. Yeah, right, no problem. We live in a beautiful dimension where happy things happen. Let's make it happen. And it happens, and I'm a joyful person in that dimension. But until then, this will do because it's awesome. So there we go.
Lovely. So that kind of moves on perfectly into what Yaster's been playing.
We're talking about more racing games here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, obviously, I've been playing the games that you guys have been playing. Well, we got our hands on with Little Big Planet Karting a good few weeks ago, in a good enough time to help us prepare for the game's launch. So I've been playing Need for Speed and Smart As and a couple of other games a bit more recently. But Little Big Planet Karting is one of our big first party releases that's coming out this month. One of three, actually maybe even 4 big first party titles from this month, along with All Stars, Wonderbook, and like the new Ratchet and Clank, which I'm not entirely sure of the release date for yet. But yeah, a little bit. Have you guys been playing that as well?
I haven't got a copy. Yeah, so.
All right.
I had it, but I misplaced it somewhere around my desk.
Oh dear.
Oh well. Yeah, it's. I really enjoyed More Nation Racers. This is obviously by the same guys. It's a kart racer on similar to that, but while Mod Nation Racers did have user generated content, you were able to create a track, create a car, and create a wee guy. You can create a car and a wee guy in this as well. You know, you can customize your Sackboy, give them like buy costumes for him and all the rest of that, and like, you know, do whatever you want with your car. But as far as the racing goes, as far as the main game goes, it's not relegated to just being a kart racer, because there's so many variables that you can do. When you play through the campaign, you are just basically playing a kart racer, and you're also doing the odd battle mode as well. You know, like some kart racers put you in an arena and have you firing weapons at other guys and stuff like that. They do that in place of boss battles, but you know how in Little Big Planet sometimes you unlock like challenge levels that are off the course, and it's quite often little mini games and stuff like that. And that was kind of really proven in Little Big Planet Vita, because they had little touch mini games. You know, like there was one that was very similar to Bust a Move and stuff like that. You know, where you would fire a bubble up to a whole bunch of bubbles at the top. You know that. But they do that here as well. But they really show the versatility of what's possible with the tools that you have at hand this time around. So, for example, okay, they take the kart racing, but they change the way that the car handles. They eliminate they force you into a first person view. They put health in your car, which can be recharged by going into a pit stop, and all of a sudden you've got a Formula 1 level, really. So it's possible for the kids out there to recreate, like, I don't know, like Silverstone or Brands Hatch or something like that, and just have folk driving around like in a game that resembles a Formula 1 racer.
Which is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And there's also another level where it's similar to MotorStorm RC as well. In fact, if I just blinked, I could have sworn that it was a track that was based on one of the MotorStorm RC tracks. It was a simple figure of 8 thing, but you know how the road, the cross sections, you know, you're on one way, it's like a jump over the people that are going over underneath, but it's possible for you to miss your jump and end up sort of having to backtrack, or to just like go really slowly over the hill to get back onto where you're supposed to be. But although we've been playing it for a wee while, unfortunately we haven't they haven't turned on the online servers until this week, when we had a whole bunch of other games to play, really. So I haven't had a good chance to check out its community. It's actually Beerscoff who is more a little bit planet-based person, but I'm very interested to see what the people do. And a game that I really used to like playing a few years ago, you played Trackmania.
Don't think so.
Trackmania it's a Ubisoft game. It's for the PC. What happens is that it's all user-generated stuff, really, and you can just go onto a server and just play a multitude of different races, and it's on a different track each time. A track that everybody that's playing in the room might not necessarily have played before. So I'm just kind of wondering, is it possible to go into matchmaking? And I think it is. Because at the end of every race, you can actually... What's happened to my voice? At the end of every race, you can... You vote for what track you want to play next with everybody else that's in the room. And who knows, you can probably just play user-generated stuff for like an entire afternoon and just not know what the next race is.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But the single-player stuff's really good. I mean, it's got the charm of Little Big Planet. There's even more Stephen Fry in this because it's more of a... Maybe there's less narration, there's less storytelling in the actual game because it's a racer rather than thingy. So it needs the narrator to kind of introduce everything and say what's happening next.
Pushes it along at a good pace, actually. I found.
Yeah.
Quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. So what do you think of it yourself?
Yeah, I really liked it. I like the little battle mode ones. You know, where when the light lights up in the middle, go across it, and it sets off I think it was like an electrical charge, and just constantly firing the missiles, trying to get to the top of the chart. I really like those ones. The races themselves, I was actually quite surprised because obviously, you know, the big karting game has always been like, you know, Mario. There's no denying that. So I was like, okay, this will be cool. I think this will be cool, but you know, it's not going to be as good. And then I played it, and I'm like, crikey, this is really, really, really good. This is amazing. I had a great laugh with it.
I mean, it's been more than 20 years now. I mean, people by now know how to make a kart racing game.
Oh yeah, and I think this really pushed it. I actually really enjoyed. I was actually taken by surprise. I really like Little Big Planet, especially, you know, the second game. But when it come, you know, it's kart racing, I was like, you know, it'll be fun, but I just wasn't expecting it to be that fun. I was, you know, kudos to them for knocking some out of the park that well, you know, and giving you all those options as well.
It's certainly one of the biggest sort of first-party exclusive titles on our platforms in this part of the year. So, recommended by us. Yes. All these games recommended by us. These are all good games.
I guess that leaves me to talk about what I've been playing. As ever, busy boy, don't get to play as much as I would like. But this week I had a nice little session playing Okami HD, which is available to download from the PlayStation Store right now. You're looking at me confused, Ross.
Just pause the podcast and download it. No, why are you looking all confused?
It's just my face.
That's what you normally look like. Well, had you played Okami before?
I had, yes. It was originally released on the PS2, wasn't it? Back in 2006 odd, sometime around then.
2006, I think, was when it originally came out. I got it, but I didn't play it for all that well. At the time, I had another machine which broke. It broke down, and it took them ages for it to like come around to send DHS around to pick it up.
Yeah.
And all the rest of that. So I was playing a whole bunch of games. I was running through an actual backlog of games, and I really enjoyed playing Okami. I never quite got to the end. I always thought I got near the end, but it's amazing because I was already playing the game for about like 25 hours or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it's a big game. 30 plus hours to complete the whole thing, and that's not even counting all of the multiple side missions. But for anyone that isn't aware of what Okami is, and shame on you.
Well, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
I mean, is a horsey? I know.
No,
it's not even a horse.
She. She is a wolf.
Oh.
And actually, she's like the sun goddess. It takes the form of a wolf.
Right.
It's got quite a lengthy backstory. The introduction takes a good half an hour to get through.
And it's got text that you have to sort of like press your button to skip past all the time.
Speed up at least.
To speed up, yeah. Because like when Bear like downloaded it onto his machine, he wanted to like start the game, and he was just sitting there because he sits behind me and he's just like tapping his joypad. Like, people are coming out saying, "What on earth are you doing?" I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm playing Daley Thompson here."
But it's the story's got its roots in Japanese mythology and folklore, and the basic premise of the game. I'm going to try and distill this down into as few sentences as possible. So, 100 years before the game begins, there's a town in Japan that is being plagued by a curse, and it's a dark entity that every so often fires an arrow into a house, and whoever lives in that house, they have to sacrifice their daughter.
It's a bit harsh.
It is really harsh. And one day, the local hero's girlfriend is targeted for sacrifice. He goes, "Right, I'm not having any of this," and he goes to fight the evil creature. When a white wolf appears and helps him defeat it, the wolf is killed in battle, and they build a little shrine to the wolf, and the hero lives happily ever after. Until 100 years later, when the monster returns, and the wolf statue comes to life, and you play as, I'm going to try and pronounce this properly, Amaterasu.
I like the difference in the reactions there between you two. When you mentioned that the woman was going to get the daughters get sacrificed, Ross went "ah," and when you mentioned that the wolf died, it was Hawk that went "ah."
Wolves are okay. They're nice.
Yeah. It's a really fun. I don't know if I could say old school, but it's a really straightforward adventure game. It's got a wonderful mechanic, actually. I didn't mention this. There's a mechanic called the Celestial Paintbrush, which basically you hold down, I think it's R1 on the PS3 controller. You can also use move controls, which is a great bonus.
Which is what people originally said when they first saw this game, because there was obviously another platform out there that had move-type controls.
Yes.
And that a lot of people used to say, this game would be great on that platform, and it did come to that platform.
Yeah. Because you can actually control this paintbrush and draw on the world, and if you do specific symbols, it performs certain attacks. So like a horizontal or vertical strike will perform a slashing move. There's one town you visit, it's shrouded in darkness, and the people are trapped as statues because it's dark and it's a curse. To lift the curse, you have to get your brush out and draw a circle in the sky, and then that makes the sun appear, which lifts the evil curse.
I remember when I used to play the game, even when I was not doing that mission, I would still make it sunny all the time because I just thought it was nicer to play when it was light.
I mean, you've hit upon something there as well. It looks absolutely amazing. It's got a really rich, vibrant colour scheme. It's got kind of inky, cel-shaded graphics. It's just really charming. I'm really enamoured with this game. I want to play it all the time. Yaster, what's going on in your section of the community?
Fighting game and Warren shoot 'em ups. Well, we've got a new event starting at the moment. I need to be really quick in mentioning this because it's taking place tomorrow on Sunday. So hopefully we're going to get this podcast up really quickly so we can get enough.
What is the date on Sunday?
Tomorrow, the Sunday is the 11th of September. November 11th, 2012.
Remembrance
1970. That's an in joke. Yeah. You just got it. What's it called? Yeah. So this is another attempt at having a fighting game event. One that I once had an event called Fight Club, where it was on an evening. I can't remember what evening it was, and I would play a different fighting game every week, and it was a lot of fun for a wee while. But then other duties had to sort of like take, were a bit more important. So I had to like wind that event down. But it's Legendary Vicky, one of our MVPs. Agreed to help us out with some Tekken related stuff, and Tekken's already been out for a wee while, so I just thought, well, with All Stars coming up, it'd be good to maybe have like a regular rotating fighting game week.
Bring the Fight Club back.
Yeah, so bringing the Fight Club back, but it's now Sunday Brawl. And at the moment we are just seeing how this one tomorrow goes, but if you want to keep an eye on the fighting game forum, you might see that in future we might have other ones. I mean, who knows, maybe one week we can feature WWE.
Of course, I'm always looking for people to lay the smackdown on in WWE 13.
Yeah. But I'm thinking that this week, Tekken, if Tekken's a success, we do Tekken again next week, using the World Arena mode, which allows us to get more people in.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do Dead or Alive at some point, but the week after next is All Stars, so I kind of want to...
But we'll work it in somewhere.
At some point there, right? And also, as far as shooters goes, this week is the launch of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I attended a live event yesterday, one that's going on this weekend, so Black Ops Live. It's just basically, it was like a community day for the Call of Duty community.
Mm-hmm.
They turned up, there was a presentation, the guy that plays Merle from The Walking Dead was there.
Did he
stage.
have his hands, both of his hands?
He had both of his hands.
I don't believe that. I saw he hacked his hand off in The Walking Dead. I saw him do it.
No, but if you've seen him now recently on there, he's got like a tin can with a knife coming out of that hand.
So he didn't have that with him.
Yeah, he didn't have that with him. No.
Well, you'd have had a hard time getting through customs with that.
You can tell that he's got his hand. He's not really lost his hand.
I don't believe you.
That would be interesting. That would be an interesting twist in Walking Dead. He maybe takes that off to reveal that he still has a hand, or maybe a hand that he's taken from one of the zombies.
Or
That'd be cool. Yeah. I mean, maybe, is that what happens in the comics? Maybe I've spoiled that for everybody.
Merle isn't in the comics.
Oh, he's not?
No.
Oh, okay.
You've just spoiled the comics.
Is,
sorry.
Is Daryl in the comics?
No.
Oh, so those guys...
Should we just tell everyone what happens in the comics?
Alright. Well, that's a separate podcast, a comic podcast. That we
just
can
spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler cast.
Spoiler cast, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, spoiler cast, and then afterwards people complain that they've just heard spoilers, despite the fact it's blatant that it's all about spoilers. Yeah, that could be fun.
In which case, we'll just ignore all those complaints.
Yeah.
But I had a bit of hands-on with Black Ops 2. Really good. No, I'm starting to really enjoy the sort of the other Call of Duty games, you know, because I do like Modern Warfare, but for me the Treyarch ones are getting better and better every 2 years that they come out now, and this seems to be a sort of like a pinnacle, I think, of their vision of Call of Duty. I got to play in the Nuketown 2025 map, which is the pre-order DLC, which is coming out. Pretty much the same layout, just as manic as it always is. But they had us playing some of the newer modes in there, the modes that weren't in Black Ops 1. So Kill Confirmed is in there now. So that's, for me, playing Kill Confirmed is kind of a little bit like playing Team Deathmatch in a kind of a way. But it's as well as that, there's a new mode called Hardpoint, which is essentially just King of the Hill. Those that have played Modern Warfare 3 will know the drop zone game type. It's kind of like King of the Hill, but you know, when you're holding the hill, you get like care packages coming down, but there's no care packages here. It's just King of the Hill. So it was a lot of fun to actually play that, and I really like the style because it's a sort of like a retro vision of the future in the old Nuketown map, really. So it's in the future, but they've kind of sort of like made it look really clean and clinical, and it's like a 1950s version of the future or something like that. You know, some of the cars, like the cars from Fallout and things like that, which makes sense because it's a little bit like Fallout, really. All the vision that they would have probably had before the Holocaust, the nuclear Holocaust, in there, really. And obviously at the very end, there's another like nuke that goes off and all the rest. Really, it was a pretty nice map. I mean, I went with one of our MVPs, D in Atlantic, and we entered the tournament. We got kicked out of the first round because they put us on the team with noobs, playing against noobs.
Yeah. That's your excuse.
Nah. There was a really nice guy. I mean, I forgot to get his name, but there was a nice guy that was sitting next to us who was on our team. But when we all put our headsets on, there was this one guy that was just yelling down the microphone, just saying, "What are we doing, guys? Come on, you need to get." And I'm just like, you can't expect everybody who's maybe had a couple, at least 3 drinks in them to cooperate, which is where at the point where I was at that point. Actually, no, we were given like 4 free drinks, and I think I had all 4 of them by that point.
Alcoholic drinks.
Alcoholic drinks, yes.
Oh, it's fizzy pop.
Or Diet Coke.
And there was people playing the zombies mode as well. I mean, I've never really played zombies, but so I just sat there and watched people play it.
Yeah,
it looks really good. Looks like a lot of fun.
Wonderful. Okay, then let's hand over to Hawk. What's going on with your section of the community?
Well, there's obviously been a lot of Grand Theft Auto information. Mm-hmm. So for anyone who wants to catch up, who's missed anything, get into the Grand Theft Auto section, check out the Let's Talk GTA 5 thread, and pretty much everything you could possibly find or there's been released, any little bit of info is in there. I can't wait. It sounds amazing. It looks amazing. Some of the things that they're implementing in this game just sound brilliant. The fact you can, you can flick from protagonist to protagonist, and a couple of hours later, if you go back to the other protagonist, you will find that he's been off and done his own thing. So he could be doing anything. He could have,
Yeah, I've heard about that.
which sounds pretty crazy. So you could flick back to him and find he's in the middle of a gunfight, or he's just randomly at a casino or something.
It really is like a persistent world this time.
Yeah.
Really, but only for the time that you're playing it. But then, like I said, you hop from character to character, and they're all got their own thing.
Apparently, they're going absolutely nuts on the musical score, and it sounds like it's going to be slightly dynamic as well, in that it changes given what's going on and things like that. And obviously, I can't wait to see, the cars, how they handle the music. That'll be one of the big things. I think when it comes out, I will aim to get, to get quite a few events going for it. So racing events, your bog standard, just fun night, and with the multiplayer games. But obviously, we've got to wait and see first what there is that's going to be in there for multiplayer. But the great thing is, it looks like there's going to be a hell of a lot more, which means we, especially for the first few weeks and whatever, we can get loads of events going for it and see which ones everyone prefers, and then run with those and keep them going, which will be great fun for all you guys in the community and on the forums. But obviously as well, we've got a brilliant chop shop thread in that section as well, which is great fun. Take any of the images that have been released for GTA 5 and manipulate them in any way you please. So if you people have been sticking what's his name, the Felix, the guy that did the skydive from,
oh yes,
yeah, they've been sticking him in there. ET on the moon, just basically Photoshop or MS Paint anything into any image, and it's great fun. The other thing, obviously, the caption competition carries on as normal. You get an image or two new each week. That's always great fun. And for Movember, we do have an action and Moventure thread, which is taking place in action and adventure general discussion. Basically, take any character, stick a moustache on them. That simple, great fun, and it's all for a good cause.
I had a look at that thread actually, and some good entries.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
I entered it as well, actually, and when I came up with my entry, I thought, I'm going to be the only one that stuck a tash on a woman, aren't I? I'm going to look like a weirdo. First page, full of women with tashes.
Yeah,
so.
It seems to be a favourite of everyone, including female gamers. I will stick a tash on a female game character. But it actually works so well. There is something highly, strangely, childishly amusing about it. But
I thought you were going to say something else.
No, it fits. I did one on Dizzy, Dizzy the egg.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm sad and old that way. So there we go. Most of the people probably look at it and be like, who's that? I don't get that one. Yeah, go on Google for that one. But I'm just thinking, what else? There's quite a few bits going on in the action adventure stuff. I suppose Grand Theft was the big one.
See, Grand Theft Auto, every time that one comes out, you get all these people that say, I don't like this about this game, I don't like that about this game, I preferred Vice City all along. But if you ask me, when it comes to Grand Theft Auto, they never disappoint, really.
There's always so much content in there.
There's always just so much to the game. The writing gets better and better every year. The characters get more and more believable, I think. And there's no other game, really, I think, that evokes that kind of sort of like run up to Christmas thing that Grand Theft Auto does, and it doesn't even come every year like what Christmas does. So
well, on that note, LordRoss, what's going on? I hear Community Racing Month is still going on.
Yes. I know it might be a bit confusing, but it did start in the middle of the month, last month, so we have still got time to go. So it's not going to end, it hasn't finished, so keep joining our little events and discussions. In fact, I think it ends about 22nd of November, around about that point. So do keep joining us.
You've got something special lined up for, is it this week that this is happening?
Well, I've got quite a few special stuff already
Particularly special, though, with Codemasters.
With Codemasters, we've got a Q&A thread set up in regards to F1 race stars. So, as Yaster was talking about Little Big Planet karting, Codemasters doing their version on Formula 1. So you've got Formula 1 F1 race stars.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a cute...
A friendly version if you don't want to take Formula 1 too seriously.
Yeah,
but
cartoon characters.
There's you see cartoon characters, but it's real life likenesses. Well, they're like
caricatures.
Caricatures of like folk that are real.
Yeah.
And brands that are real. No, obviously there's no cigarette advertising in Formula 1 anymore, but things like Santander and Vodafone are all featured there and stuff.
So it's available on the store, the demo. So if you guys download that demo now, and then give it a go, give it a play, see what you think, and then you come to our thread in the driving board. You can ask a question, or many questions, about the game, and I'll file them all off to Codemasters.
Okay.
And they will pick their favourite to win an F1 Race Stars signed copy.
Would it be okay for me to come in that thread and just post repeatedly, I don't care about any other game from you, but LMA Manager, are you going to make a new one, or else? And I think you should ask them that.
It's actually in regard to F1 Race Stars specifically. It's not about the company or any, not even Formula 1 2012, it's about F1 Race Stars.
But you should do that anyway,
sad.
because nobody ever comes. Whenever you have the opportunity on our channels to talk to a developer of a game, nobody ever comes in to talk about something completely different. So you would be be quite a character if you did that.
I do like Codemasters, and some of the stuff they produce is great.
What do you think about trolling my thread?
But LMA Manager, seriously, people loved that game. It was amazing. It was addictive. It was awesome. If I want to play it, I'm stuck with the year 2007, right? Seriously, please, Codemasters, make me a new one. Everyone troll LordRoss's thread, but also do ask about the racing games as well. but also just say, P.S. Where's LMA Manager 2013?
Anyway,
I think that's fair.
When you're sending the email to them, then just say, "Oh, here's a link to our podcast. Listen at this point in the podcast, and listen to this guy blather on about LMA Manager."
He's got a question for you guys. Yeah.
Well,
anyway, that I think that ends this. It should finish midweek, I think. So I mean, there is a date on deadline somewhere. I can't remember it off by hand, but do get your questions in beforehand. Otherwise, you'll miss out on this opportunity. But you've still got a chance to enter our Gran Turismo 5 jacket, which is also another signed thing. And this one is signed by the CEO of
Polyphony.
Polyphony. It's Kazunori.
I'm not very good with these foreign names.
Kazunori. Big Kaz.
how long's left to run on that competition?
That one, the jacket ends at the end of the racing month. So it's 22nd November, I think it is.
So you've got no excuse not to enter.
And the WRC competition, I think that's finished today.
You picked your winners, didn't you?
We need to pick a winner for that, which we're not going to do live on podcast. We'll discuss. We'll discuss it after this.
Pac-Man winner, she's won.
I don't think he's entered.
That's a surprise.
Shocking.
I can't remember. They're little competitions. We've still got the events going on. Massimo is doing a fine job of doing the go-karting league, which is still got going on. We've got our GT time trials, and we've got our F1 hot laps as well.
Hot laps.
So get involved.
So there's loads going on with racing games. If there's a racing game out there on PS3, there's something going on.
And of course, as Wretched Hawk said, Need for Speed has just been released, so we have already got events for that.
And there's also, for those that have not seen it, there's a racing game sale on the PlayStation Store.
It's 50%, up to 50% on quite a few games. So,
and not just PS3 games, but also with some Vita games as well in there.
Yeah.
And possibly PSP ones as well. There's also a general sale games that are related to characters that are appearing in PlayStation All-Stars as well, really, so you can find discounts on the God of War games, the Jak and Daxter games and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool.
Pay a visit to the store this week and buy some games for next to no money, practically.
Lovely. Right, my turn to talk about stuff. That's the sound of me rubbing my hands together in glee.
And that's the sound of everybody turning the podcast off.
Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is my WWE 13 OPC Championship League. As I promised in the last podcast, I was working on setting up an online championship match in WWE 13, and I have done it.
Hurrah!
There's a lovely little video on there with my first title defense, which is against the Animal Brock Lesnar. Spoilers, I won, but there was an amusing bit in the video I left in where I went to do it like a diving grapple, but I completely missed and landed on my head. And I forget who it was, but they've already made a GIF of it. And
nice.
So they make fun of me. But I would actually like to point out, whenever discussing my reign as champion, I will refer to myself in third person. So Serum Lake wishes you to join in on his wrestling league, because Serum Lake is a fighting champion that will take on anybody, anytime, anywhere. Boom. Lovely.
I'm annoyed with that already.
The only other thing I really need to talk about, from my section at least, is Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. We did a trial run of a multiplayer game night to celebrate N7 Day on the 7th of November, which was a special event that EA were running where anyone that played online would automatically get some rare equipment and profile badges and icons and stuff.
Cool.
Went fairly well. So well, in fact, I've decided to try and make it a regular thing. So if you're interested, head over to the RPG board. In the general discussion part, there's a Mass Effect multiplayer discussion thread that's floated for everybody. Sign up there, express your interest, we'll sort some gameplay out. Probably try to do it every Wednesday or so.
That's pretty cool.
And one message from Bear Scoff here, something I need to talk about. Bear Scoff has launched a fabulous competition for Batman Arkham City. It's called Batscoff's Blind Justice Challenge. Now, in order to participate, you need to own a copy of either Arkham City or Arkham City Game of the Year edition and play through the first challenge map, the combat challenge map you unlock, the Blind Justice Challenge map, and get the highest score possible. Then add Batscoff to your friends list, and we will have a look at all of the highest scores. Now then, the first prize is a black and white Batman statue, Arkham City comic book, Ask Alfred t-shirt, Detective Mode Batman action figure, an Arkham City soundtrack, an Arkham City keyring with a display box, and a set of collectible art cards.
That's a nice amount of swag right there.
That is a tremendous amount of swag. We've actually got a bonus prize as well for the person that comes in second place, which is a Clown Thug action figure, an Ask Alfred t-shirt, and an Arkham City keyring. So even if you don't come in first, enter anyway, you might still get something. Also, just looking at my notes here, runners-up, the 18 runners-up will get an Arkham City keyring.
We've got a lot of keyrings. Okay, so...
They're really cool keyrings, actually, as well. They're the Arkham City logo.
Okay.
They're in orange or blue, I believe.
I've got a black one.
Oh, have you got a black one?
But that was... Because we got a few of them earlier from... I think Ski UK had a couple of them. And
Okay. The ones we've got, I believe, it's orange and blue. And then they're not like cheap, flimsy plastic. They're quite solid, nice objects. I wish I could have one. I probably could once the competition's over if we've got any going spare. But yeah, that's it from me.
All right.
Okay, now it's time for the community questions. The first question to come in is from Corsten97, and he asks, are any of you fans of stealth games, and are you looking forward to Hitman Absolution? So, let's start with Hawk. Hitman.
Well, Hitman Absolution. I do like the Hitman games. I will get round to it at some point. Although, because I have my pile of shame, which is rapidly growing, I have so many games that I really should finish first.
Mountain of Shame. More
Yeah,
like, isn't
it is huge. It is massive. But when it comes to stealth games, I think, it's Metal Gear Solid all the way, to be honest. Although Hitman Absolution does look... It looks pretty nice. It does look really good.
It does, yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry. I originally just didn't really get on with stealth games all that much until I got to the point once where I would just be playing like a normal shooter or normal action and adventure type game as a stealth game. Like I would play through a game like SOCOM, for example, just assuming that I had to like avoid combat at all points, but that's not always necessarily the case, isn't it? Because you used to play SOCOM an awful lot, Ross. Are these stealth games, would you say?
They can be stealth games.
All right. Well,
You can play them either way, all guns blazing or in the shadows.
Right. Well, it's good because if you're playing a stealth game and you get like discovered, then at least you know that's the fail state, really, and you know that I'll just start that again, really. But I've grown to love Metal Gear. I've grown to love like Splinter Cell. I've never played Hitman before, but I might give that a shot this time round because it does look rather good.
One of the things I'm most looking forward to about Hitman Absolution is the Contracts multiplayer mode, which is an asynchronous multiplayer mode. In other words, you don't need to be online playing at the same time. And what you can do is you have every level in the game and you can set specific targets and criteria. So say, for instance, you pick, I don't know, let's just say the first level, and you pick a random member of the crowd as your target, and you say, right, you can only use a rubber duck as the weapon, for instance. I don't know if you can use rubber ducks as weapons, but that's just what's popped into my mind. And then you send the challenge out to friends, and they have a go at it. And then you get an update, seeing how well they've done.
That sounds good for events.
Yeah.
It is. I have things planned.
Yeah, that sounds quite good for little challenges on the forums. Quite like the sound of that.
So there's this video on PlayStation Access on the video on the store this week, where it shows a bunch of cops like dancing in a sort of a rave, and it goes over to the DJ, and the DJ is Agent 47. So they're going. I mean, you can't see what I'm doing right now, but I'm basically pretending that I'm on a set of turntables with a very kind of straight face.
You look very professional.
Yeah,
I believed it. I actually thought you were DJing for a moment there.
Did you think I was about to kill you? Because that's the other part of that.
Not that bit. But I thought you were DJing. Honestly.
Right. I really enjoy stealth games. In fact, I mean, I always have done. From like The Thief to Sly Raccoon, Splinter Cell, Metal Gear Solid, of course. I mean, I was a Metal Gear Solid fan primarily, but then I went into Splinter Cell. And when I tried to go back to Metal Gear Solid, I was like, oh, Metal Gear Solid 3 specifically, when it was in the forest or whatever, in the trees and daytime. And I was thinking, oh, Sam Fisher wouldn't do this. He would have his night goggles on, come at night time, none of this.
Dig a hole, bury himself until night time, and then crawl out from.
I just felt it was being silly going with daytime doing that. I thought, no, Sam Fisher wouldn't do that. So I'd have changed allegiance from Metal Gear Solid to Splinter Cell.
Shocking.
But
what about like the big stealth game which is currently at the moment, which we haven't really? I mean, I talked about Liberation last week. Assassin's Creed 3. I mean, I think you've been playing it, Hawk.
Yep, I've been dabbling in it. Let's say that I'm not very far in. I've been dabbling when I get time. And yeah, it's great fun. It's brilliant. We continue to get good feedback from you guys on the forum. You all seem to be loving it, which is great, fantastic. The same with Liberation. As we said before, people saying, yeah, it's great. This is really different, really really good fun.
Well, I didn't like the first few games. I know I'm in a minority there, but Envisager did force me to play this one because he says, this is your era, this is what you like, this is kind of, got boats, it's got that. So I thought, all right, I'll give it a gander. And I really liked it, in fact. Really liked it. It's got what I like, it's got the story.
And it's got Refresher at the beginning. You don't need, I mean, I didn't play Revelations, is that the last Assassin's Creed 2? Revelations, I didn't play that, but it gives you a nice recap at the beginning. So
yes, I mean, I was very impressed actually, so, for someone who doesn't like Assassin's Creed to suddenly really like it, they've done a good job.
They're doing something right then. Okay, so resounding yes, we like stealth games here.
Yes, we do.
Good. Okay, the next question. Actually, it's questions from two people, but they kind of link together. So LA Clennell asks, will Ski ever do events around the northeast of England, like Newcastle upon Tyne? It would make a change from London, Manchester, etc.
Manchester is the north.
Well, yes, I suppose so. And Strange Place asks, will Scotland ever be recognised as a real place by PlayStation, the forum and PlayStation Access? Or are we doomed to our fate of always being slightly too far away from everything?
There was an Access event in Glasgow.
Well, there we go.
A wee while ago there was, yeah. Every now and then, yeah, we do events that are... events that are all around the place, but...
I think... people have to. I mean, I know what they're saying because I'm not from London myself, but I think you have to accept that the majority, where all the companies are that see the event and the people you need to attend the events, that get the exposure, that do the PR, that will cover the event and will get you the coverage, the photographers. Think of the whole of the media, London based. If you go and do an event in Great Yarmouth, for example, right, and it's massive. You will get a lot of people probably turn up, but you won't get much coverage, sadly. Although you might actually get quite a bit of coverage in the social media channels. So it is something. I think the thing is, there are certain reasons, and they're not purposeful reasons why it's done mainly in London.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to have things further afield.
Yeah.
But that adds a lot to it to implement and organise, and I suppose it can make it difficult, especially sometimes if it's short notice things. But what I'd say for anyone who wants that kind of thing is, gather other people together and get a voice. And the greater your voice, with all demanding, then maybe they'll take notice and go, okay, we'll go up there and we'll do something.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because it's not like we're not like entirely based here in London, because we do have offices in like Liverpool and stuff like that as well, really, and developers that are all around the country. First of all, I will say that us here in this like community team, we're not the ones that put on these events ourselves. I mean, that's like a different part of us. So really, we these are our opinions that we have.
When something is done here, it gets the bigger exposure. And obviously, for every one thing, say, done up north, there might be 3 done here. But
I mean, usually when a new major thing comes out, like particularly like a platform launch, then they will tour the country.
Yeah, which I think is great.
Yeah. Whereas down here, it's like maybe EA will come to us to say, okay, like new Need for Speed game is coming out, not necessarily Most Wanted, but let's say one in the future. We're going to have a launch event, and it's going to be near Piccadilly Circus. If you want to, you can bring a couple of members of your community to come and have a look at it. It gets the exposure, like you say, because we're talking about it, and because other members of the press are talking about it, and the press are down here. This is actually a press event. However, it's not a major. It's not big enough really to actually tour to go around, because it's just a one-off launch event for an actual
it's
game.
easier, and it achieves its target by doing it right near where everybody is. If you want more stuff happening in your areas, then what you need to do is basically shout louder and longer and gather more people, and maybe then someone will take more notice.
Right, okay, and our final question from Raving Zombie. Just wondering what you all think of the recent trend of re-releasing games in HD. Is it just a money-grabbing trend, or a good way for people to gain an interest in a series in which they may have originally missed?
I think it's a win-win if done correctly. So, like with Metal Gear, because they put a lot of effort in. Obviously, you're going to get some companies that go, well, everyone else is doing it, we need the cash quickly, just bang it out.
Yeah.
That's not the way to do it. Do it properly. You don't necessarily need to add anything new, but put the time and effort in, make it look glorious. There's nothing wrong with it. Because at the end of the day, you run a company, the fact is you've got people to pay who need to be paid because they need to live. And that's, or else got to find jobs. So there's no wrong with releasing a new product or releasing the same product if you've improved it, which is how any product works. I mean, look at Apple. Improve the product, bring it out, bang, more money, everyone's happy. So that's what companies are there for.
Apart from those that have had to part of the money.
Companies are there to make money for themselves, the people who work there, and the investors. And if it opens the product up to new people, then that means people coming back to buy more products from the company, which makes more money, which is money. At the end of the day, it's business, but there are positives. But I'm only happy with it if it's done properly. So, for example, with Metal Gear, it makes extra money for the company, but the positive for me was they actually did a cracking job. If you're doing that, if you're a company that puts the actual effort and love into it, fantastic.
Same with Sly Trilogy as well.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're a company that just does it because fair enough you need the money, but you're not putting the effort in, well, that's that is a shame.
And there is a demand. I mean, back to talking about the games, there is a demand for these games. I mean, when we originally brought out God of War, people started to have ideas about what they wanted to do, and that's how Ico and Shadow of the Colossus came about. But further down the line, when you had things like Tomb Raider and Splinter Cell and all that, people would say, okay, but give us Sly Cooper, give us Jak and Daxter, give us Ratchet and Clank, and they all came along, really, so there's demand for that.
Yeah.
But to talk about the games themselves, I mean, I think the key is, have the game experience how you remember it. You might have to change, because like one of the differences with the new Killzone HD that came out before, Guerrilla did comment through their channels that they have changed the controls slightly to suit the DualShock 3, because like the sort of dead zone on these controllers are different from what they used to be. I mean, you have to like change it slightly, change the algorithm slightly to actually have it play like a current game would have, because you don't want people just load up an old game, play it for about 5 minutes thinking, oh, this is a load of ass. That's not how I remember it.
Yeah.
And then they forget about it. If you're going to change the aesthetics, I mean, obviously clean it up and put out in HD. I mean, it's fine to leave it like that. If you're going to like put like a new overlay over the game, a new skin, for example, like what they did with the Monkey Island re-release, it has new graphics, but a quick press of the select button, you would change it to the old way it looked. I mean, that's a really good feature to
I
put
really
in.
like that little
Yeah,
feature.
that was cool.
And you got your trophy, did it?
And I got your trophy just for doing that, just for pressing like select or whatever the button
And
was.
just think how many new people who'd never played those games before the Monkey Island now played it. It's
Even putting things in that you just wouldn't expect them to do, like with Ratchet, the Ratchet and Clank 3, the multiplayer is intact, and it's like what it used to be. I mean, obviously it runs on PSN now rather than Central Station, but it's you set up a lobby in the way that you used to do it. Like your Central Station friends list is now your PSN friends list. And even on Metal Gear, like you said, Metal Gear Peace Walker has the multiplayer in it, and it's online this time around. So that works. That's the kind of thing that you wouldn't really expect them to put in. And there's mini games, not a big full new section to the Sly games in Sly Cooper, but there was move-based mini games which are there, which as a bit extra. I mean, there's 3 full games on that disc, just the one disc Blu-ray. And here's a little bit extra for you, and a trailer for the new game as well, which they didn't even announce. You played through to the end of all the games, and they give you a trailer for Sly 4. It was great.
Yeah. The only other thing I have to add is Okami HD. Well, that about does it for another episode of the forum. All that's left to do is say thank you, LordRoss.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Wretched Hawk.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Yaster.
Oh, it's my turn. Thank you and goodbye, everybody.
Remember to check out community.eu.playstation.com for more wonderful discussion like we've been having here. And we are available on iTunes now, so remember, rate us, subscribe us, we'll love you forever, that sort of thing. Right, bye everyone.
See ya. Bye.
What else can we promote?
EU.playstation.com, go on there and check your trophies. Blog.eu.playstation.com, check bloggy things, find out where we get all our news from. And Facebook.com/Sony PlayStation is the European PlayStation page. Twitter.com/PlayStation EU is the European Twitter
We
account.
are everywhere, aren't we?
Yep.
Facebook.com/PlayStation 3, Sony PlayStation, Your Whole World, PS Vita.
YouTube.com/EN community team. Yeah, that's
Which
it.
is where you probably are now reading this.
I think that'll do. I think we've overloaded them with links now.
Pinterest.com.